And Sri Lanka has chosen its next president in Anura Kumara Dissanayake.
A leader whose political fortunes have changed after the 2022 economic meltdown. Dissanayake is expected to take oath of office today.
Well, it was not an easy win for the 55-year-old leader. Millions of Sri Lankans voted on Saturday in an election that turned to be historic in more ways than one.
By early evening, the race was down to two candidates, Anura Kumara Dissanayake and Sajith Premadasa. Since neither cleared the 50% vote share mark, election officials proceeded to count preferential votes. For the first time in Sri Lanka's history, as the day drew to a close, the people's mandate became increasingly clear.
In accordance with Section 61 of the Presidential Elections Act No. 15 of 1981, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, who got 5,074,179 votes, has been legally elected as President of the Sri Lankan Democratic Socialist Republic.
Outgoing President Ranil Wickremesinghe congratulated Dissanayake for the victory.
ජනාධිපතිතුමනි ඔබත් මමත් දෙදෙනාම ආදරය කරන ශ්‍රී ලංකාව නැමැති ආදරණීය දරුවා මම මහත් සෙනෙහසින් ඔබ වෙත බාර දෙනවා.
India's High Commissioner Santosh Jha met with President-elect Dissanayake and conveyed greetings from India's leadership.
In his first address as President-elect of Sri Lanka, Dissanayake called for a restoration of the people's voice as a critical step towards advancing the country.
There was a need for a government with a mandate from the people if you want to rescue the country from the crisis. We know in the recent past the mandate was distorted. The distortion of the people's mandate affected the parliament and other institutions beyond that. The people's mandate that is needed to take this country forward is being established. That was the main point of the presidential election. And I think the general election should be held immediately after.
The President-elect now has a plate full of challenges. What Dissanayake has promised to bring to the table is a tax reform and a pledge to renegotiate the existing IMF bailout agreement. The question now is, can he deliver on the change that Sri Lankans have voted for?
And well, for more on this, our correspondent Dasuni Athola is joining us live from Colombo. Hi Dasuni, you're joining us live from outside the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo. You have been tracking the polls very closely over the weekend, and now we have a new Sri Lankan president. He is supposed to be sworn in later today. How are the on-ground preparations looking like?
Well, yes, I'm currently outside the Presidential Secretariat. This is the prominent building you see right behind me. The media is just arriving as the final preparations to get the swearing-in ceremony underway is still ongoing inside the Presidential Secretariat. We did see a few prominent figures, political as well as general government figures, coming in earlier in the morning at around 7:30, and the media also just coming in because we were informed that the official oath ceremony will take place between 9 to 10 a.m., probably at an auspicious time.
All right, well, Dasuni, that being said, Dissanayake has called for restoration of the people's voice as a critical step towards advancing the country. Now, what kind of changes can one expect under his presidency?
Absolutely. If we were to compare from a statistic point of view, the percentage of votes that Anura Kumara Dissanayake obtained in the 2019 election and then compare it with this, it is a significant jump from 3% in 2019 to 42% plus in the 2024 presidential election, which clearly shows that the mood and the voice of the people have shifted, and they are placing him with high trust and hope to sort of see a shift in Sri Lanka's political as well as economic culture. What we are interested to see is after the swearing-in ceremony, what next lies ahead of the MP's plan of governance, because they are yet to tell us how they will be forming a new government, whether they will be forming a new government, and what next can we expect. Are we going to head in for general elections? Are we not going to? Are we going to wait for a budget to be passed for this election to take place? So those are some key questions that everyone here is waiting for, just to hear the president-elect speak to the media or give a general address as the president for the first time and sort of give us a hint or a glimpse of what we can expect in the coming few weeks.
Right, Dasuni, clearly Sri Lankans did vote for a change, and it was an unprecedented one because it came down to a two-horse race between Dissanayake and Premadasa. If you can tell us how the Sri Lankans are reacting to Disanayake's victory.
Now, the Sri Lankans are quite elated, while a lot of them who did vote for the other candidates, Sajid Premadasa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, were a little disappointed at the start. All of them were of the common view that they will come together and stand behind the new president, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, in rebuilding and recovering Sri Lanka. So, that, like I said, a lot of hopes, a lot of promises have been delivered, and especially those who did not vote for Anura Kumara Dissanayake will now be asking the president to quite plainly walk the talk.
Well, thank you, Dasuni, for joining us on World. And we will, of course, be tracking the swearing in of Dissanayake with you very closely here.